Hello, dear students. Welcome to another lesson of English for baccalaureate students, especially first year and also second year baccalaureate students. Today's lesson is grammar, the passive voice. First of all, before I explain anything, let's look at this short paragraph. It says here, in our neighborhood in Imintanut, a new school was built. Lots of trees were planted. The road leading to the school was paved. It really looks beautiful. So what do you notice in this text? First thing that I notice is the focus here is on what has been done in our neighborhood, not who did or performed all these things, all these actions. So if you could see here, like sentence number one, it says a new school was built. Somebody built that school, but it's not really very important who built the school. So what's important is what has been done. So the school was built. Next sentence, it says lots of trees were planted. Again, we don't know who performed this action, but what's important here is something has been done. It says what? Lots of trees were planted. Next, it says the road leading to school was paved. The road is paved. Nice. That's what matters to us. Not who did the action. That's what the focus is on when we talk about the passive voice. So the first example from that paragraph would be a new school was built. Another one, trees were planted. Trees were planted. So as you can see here, the focus is on what's been done, not who did the action. And this is what we call the passive voice, or in Arabic al-mabni lil-majhul. So in the passive voice we talk about, or the focus, what's important to us is what has been done, what's been said, not who did the action. So that's the active voice. You say Omar built a new school, or the government built a new school. That's the active voice. So we know the government built the school, but here the focus is on what happened. Like a new school was built, trees were planted. Nice. My next point that I'd like you to get your attention to is the form. What do you notice here? What's the form of the passive voice? So a new school was built. You see here, it's the action verb is composed of two words. The same thing here, were planted. So the form is to be plus past participle. Verb to be plus past participle. You can see here, verb to be was built. Were, because here the object is the focus here is on, it's plural. S were planted. So it's not that complicated. Why do we use passive voice? As I have mentioned, the passive voice main use is to talk about what's been done, what's been said, when we do not know who performed the action, like in this case, or it's not very important to us. You could say, oh, my phone is gone, or oh, dinner is served. So what's important is dinner is served, not who served or who prepared dinner. Anyways, nice. So we could try to turn this into the active voice so that it's clearer in your heads. So for this one, what would it be in the active voice? when we know who did the action. So a new school was built. It could be like, you could say the government. The government what? The government built a school. Nice. Or built a new school. So you can see the focus here shifts from talking about who performed the action to what's been done. The same thing here. Trees were planted. Somebody planted the trees. Say it could be what? Could be volunteers planted trees. Nice. So again, this is the active, where we know who performed the action. Volunteers planted the trees. Nice. And the next point I'd like you to pay attention to is the change of tense from the active to the passive. Like here, it says on the active, it says volunteers planted trees. So here it's simple past. The verb in the action verb here is in simple past. So when we turn into the passive, let's say volunteers planted trees. Trees, so the focus is on what happened. What happened to the trees? They were planted. Trees were planted. So verb to be takes the time and tense of whatever we have in the active voice. Planted, simple past, verb to be, simple past. And then you always have this form, past participle here. Planted, regular, put ed, and here we have built, it's irregular, conjugated, past participle, built. So that's how the chain goes. Whatever you have, whatever tense you have in the active voice, you apply it to the verb to be in the passive voice. Verb to be takes the time and tense of the actual verb of the active voice. Nice. Now that we are done with this, I'd like to give you an exercise to practice. Just a couple of sentences to help you grasp this point. Say Omar plans a school trip. Omar planned a school trip. Another one would be Fatima won a prize. Won a public speaking prize, if you like. So how could you say this using the passive voice form? So again, Omar, the active voice, plans, simple present, a school trip. Fatima won, simple past, a prize. Again, try to apply the same logic I have explained here. So the government built a school. Active voice. So what happened? What happened here? If you say that. Nice. Omar plans a school trip. How could you say this using the passive voice? Again, what has been done here? What happened? Omar plans what? Omar plans a school trip. So we could say a school trip what? So we need the verb to be plus participle here. So this would be what? So since this one is in the present, we should put verb to be in the present. Is past participle planned. Since that is regular, you could just say planned. School trip is planned. If you like, you say by Omar, if necessary. Nice. The same thing would be, the same logic would be applied here. Fatima won a prize. You could again try to apply the same logic here. So what happened? Somebody won a prize. So you could say a prize. A prize what? A prize was won. Was won. Why was? Because the verb here is in simple past. So verb to be has to take that time and tense. A prize was won by Fatima. In this case, we probably need to mention her. Great. So as you can see, it's not very complicated to mention something using passive form. Again, the focus is on what's been done or what's been said. That's what the passive voice is all about. If you have any questions, you could ask me before we call it a day. Nice. Thank you very much. I'll see you in our next lesson. Have a good day. Bye bye.